Did you know that the civil rights movement was, other than abortion, the worst thing that ever happened to the blacks?
No, I don't agree with that.
And why not?
I don't see why it would be the worst thing to ever happen to the blacks. Being able to have desegregation and being able to be treated like a full and equal human in society, although we still have our issues and systematic racism still exists, a lot of good came from the civil rights era.
I grew up in Alabama, as I said, during the time that so-called Jim Crow law existed. I remember for colors on it, for whites on it, blah, 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 kind of water fountain and all that. But the blacks were doing better then than they are today in that they bought land, they owned homes, they went to universities if they wanted to, they had trades. When the kids left home, graduated, left home, they started businesses, they bought homes. And the Jim Crow law existed. But it brought the best out of the blacks because they had to do for themselves, right? They couldn't blame someone else, and they did the best. They would be like the Jews are today had not the civil rights movement happened. And but when the civil rights movement happened, the blacks gave up their families for the government. They gave up their becoming an individual for the so-called black leaders like Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson, all those people. They turned their lives over to them. And those people told them, racism is this, y'all can't make it, y'all need us, y'all need this. And the blacks have gone downhill ever since. They have never returned back to normal. Have you noticed that?
I completely disagree with that.
Why?
It's just
what
not
part
true.
of that you disagree with?
How have blacks gone downhill? Black women particularly are the most educated demographic of people in the whole country. In 2023, that's an improvement because there were times where we weren't even allowed to go to school prior to, certain things being protected.
When were you not allowed to go to school? There were
women.
As a result of desegregation, they were creating black universities and things like that, which brought out the best in blacks then. And then the education that they were getting is much better than the education they're getting out of black schools because, how black folks are, they don't care. But
I disagree.
the education was no good. And if you notice, the black women who are getting the so-called education, it's putting them on a false pedestal, and they think they're better than everybody. Now they're lonely, they're lost, they're angry, and nobody want to deal with them. So they got worse rather than getting better.
I completely disagree. I know plenty of black women who are happily married and educated. I'm going to my friend Tati's wedding next weekend. Black woman, black man.
She
has a master's degree, and she's getting married a black man.
But educated women don't make for good wives and good mothers.
I completely disagree with that.
Why is that?
It's just not true. It's sexist. It's a lot of misogyny in there, and it's just not true.
What's not true about that?
Why does education stop you from being a good mother? Explain to me why having an education means you're not a good mother.
Because a woman that's educated, she thinks she's equal to a man, and so she's gonna want to go to work. She's gonna try to make the man become the woman at the house. She's not gonna want to obey her husband.
Why would a man become a woman because a man, is he not also going to work?
Because a woman that's educated think that she should work and not be at home raising his children and clean, keep the house going and things like that. And they don't care about the children. Educated women don't care about the children. They'll rather throw them off in a daycare center just so they could get their ego fulfillment. So they don't really make for good wives and good mothers.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that.
Why do you disagree with that?
Because it's just not true. I know a lot of women who are educated. My mother was very educated. She went to school and she raised me well to now I too have a master's degree. I have my pick of the litter. There are plenty of men that want me. I can guarantee you that. And I have my own business, so it works.
But you haven't mentioned what's good about internet. None of that.
I think she raised
at all that's a good thing.
She raised a happy, healthy, functioning adult that was able to grow a business while being educated and
nothing good about that.
What's wrong with it? What's bad about it?
We're talking about a woman staying home and raising a man's children.
You're not explaining your point on how that makes her a bad mother. Like, where does she go wrong?
By trying to fulfill her ego.
But where
thinking
did
that she's equal to a man, rather than having the love of raising the man's children, being there for the children and being there for the.
Are you saying that women who have an education can't raise their kids?
Right.
Why?
because they on an ego trip. They trying to go to prove that they are like
So
a man.
who raised
would you
me?
would you ever? Are you planning to get married one day?
Yeah,
Would you ever obey your husband?
sure.
You would stay home. You would let all
I
this
would not
education
stay at
stuff
home.
go.
Yeah, I'm not staying at home
Why?
because I don't want to.
Well, why get married if you don't love your husband and your children enough to stay home and watch over his children?
I don't even want children, so
Oh, you don't
I'm
want
gonna
children?
be married with my husband, traveling the world, and living my best life.
So why get married then?
Why
you
not?
can do
I
that.
want
Stay
partnership
single.
and companionship. I want to build, again, marriage does come with certain things, like you are tied to that person, you can buy homes together, you have better credit, your taxes is lower. There's a lot of benefits to marriage that aren't based on having children.
But those are selfish benefits.
So I'm selfish.
Oh, see, yeah. And you were raised by a single woman, right?
I was raised by a married woman.
But she didn't stay home,
So,
right? She didn't stay home and raise you.
what's your
I
point?
rest my case.
What's your point? I feel like it worked. I'm fine. Like if your argument were true, that would mean that my mother would have to fail in some way, right? That would have meant that she didn't do a good job raising me, that I had some sort of troubles, I wasn't able to succeed in life, and that like her status, because eventually my parents did get divorced, and that did not have a negative effect on me being able to grow up and
Did
become
they
a
get divorced
successful,
while you were
thriving-
young?
Yeah,
While you were still living at home?
correct.
Oh, I thought you said you were raised by both parents.
For a little bit. Then they got
So
divorced.
you weren't raised by both parents. See, I told you, educated women don't make for good wives and good mother.
disagree.
And now you're an adult. If you got married, number one, you're not going to obey your husband. Number two, you don't want to have children. There's no reason to get married.
To you.
Because you can party by yourself like that. You have friends, and you can take your male friends with you and everything.
To you.
Isn't that right?
To you, there's no reason to get married to you, but there's going to be, for me, I still see a reason.
Do you believe, did you go to a black university?
No.
Which one you went to?
University of North Texas.
North Texas. Do you believe that a woman should stay home and raise the man children?
I believe that women are allowed to make whatever choice makes them the most happy, feel the most fulfilled, and feel the most safe. If that's staying at home, then stay at home. If you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Do you believe that they should stay at home and raise the man children?
If they want to. I don't believe, again, we talked about freedom. I really believe in freedom. So I believe
Right.
in, if that's what a woman wants to do you, boo. And if you don't, then don't.
But do you believe she should, since she got married, she should obey her husband and stay home and raise his children?
I believe she should do whatever she wants. That's what I believe.
And not what he wants?
Correct.
Really, not what her husband wants?
Right. As a husband should do whatever he wants to do because we're autonomous people with freedom, right?
Do you believe that a woman should obey her husband?
She should do whatever she wants to do. Whatever works in
No,
that
I'm asking you,
household.
what do you believe? Do you personally believe that a woman should obey her husband?
I don't like the word obey. I believe in communication, collaboration, and whatever makes the most sense for your household. So if the husband wants to lead the household and the woman believes that's what makes the most sense for their household and they come to an agreement on that, a meeting of the minds, and they agree that's how their household should be ran, then that's how it should be ran. But again, I believe in meeting of the minds, communication, and collaboration. Whatever works for one might not work for another family unit. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors in somebody's home. So whatever makes the most sense for their marriage to succeed is what they should do.
Amazing. You don't like the word obey, you say?
Yeah, obey sounds, again, I believe women are equal to men. So we're just going to disagree on that.
And so what's wrong with the word obey?
Because obey sounds like an authority.
It is.
And I
A
don't believe-
dictator.
Yeah, and my
And
husband
being
should not
supposed
be
to
a dictator.
dictate in the home.
Completely disagree.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah, I grew up Christian.
Well, Christ said that a woman should obey her husband. Was he wrong too?
Sure.
Christ was wrong?
Yeah,
The God you believe in was wrong when he said that.
sure.
Amazing. You notice that since women have been given the right to vote, that the country going to hell in a handbasket?
Absolutely
Because
not.
women don't make good decisions.
And
It's
what
not,
evidence do you have to support that stance?
if you notice that, for example, in the Democratic Party, since they got more women representatives, the blacks are relying on government more. They are relying on free stuff. They want reparations. They want everything free.
And that's because of
And
women?
because they have more women voters. I know they have black men in there too, but mostly women. And women tend to approve stuff like that, like abortion and all that. They tend to be emotional because women live in their imagination and emotion. And the decisions are made on how they feel and not what is right, the best thing.
I have to disagree with that. Women are still the minority in Congress and in the Senate, so there's still less women than there are men. So the people who have the majority to vote and the most power are still men. And we talk about women being emotional when it comes to decision making, but historically women didn't have rights or access to be able to make those decisions. And we still went to wars. We still have famine. We still had disenfranchisement when women didn't even have power. So to say that things have gotten worse when we've seen society progress since women have been a part of the picture just isn't valid, in my opinion.
But have you noticed that there are things that are happening in the country today that when men were ruling would not be? It would not, like
what?
same-sex marriage and abortion and all that.
Yeah.
It would not be, but as soon as women get in position of power, those things come about because women, again, they tend to be emotional and they tend to go the wrong way if they're not led by men.
I completely disagree with that 100%. People have been having abortions. Abortion is even in the Bible. Like, abortion just became safer, and we started to medically regulating it. But if a person doesn't want to have a kid, they're not going to have it. And sometimes they often take their own life trying not to have a baby because they're not ready. So that's not the responsibility of women making that legal. Like, that's just something that's been happening for decades. As far as same-sex marriage, there are males who are gay. Shocker.
I know, and that's nothing.
That's gay men.
It's nothing wrong with if they want to be that way, if women want to have an abortion, but they just shouldn't pass laws to approve it because people that are for that, they are not self-contained. They're not, they lose self-control. So we need physical laws to contain the lawless.
Absolutely not. I believe in, and I think that's something that I share with some people who are on the right? I believe in personal autonomy and I believe in freedom. Right. And so if you want to have freedom to make your own choices, I believe in that. If you don't want to have an abortion or if you don't want to be gay, then you don't have to. But those who have that lifestyle or who are that way because that's how they were born, that's freedom.
I know, but why pass, and you're right, but why pass a law for it?
Because you have to protect it. We can't have people, again, we don't believe in taking away people's freedoms. We believe in the freedom to have the Second Amendment. We believe in the freedom to vote. There's a lot of things that we have constitutionally that are protected in the Constitution. So why should we protect certain things like our Second Amendment right to bear arms and not protect, access to health care, women's health care, or not protect access to marrying who you choose to marry?
Before they passed law to allow women to kill the man's children in her womb, women were doing abortion, they were just doing it privately. They would do it at home.
And a lot of women died because of that. And so we're a modern society.
That's a risk you take.
But it's a modern society.
And they have the right to, have an abortion at home or wherever, and if they lose their life, they take that risk.
But we have to think about medical. This is a medical issue. Before we had laws to sterilize medical equipment, people were doing open heart surgery without proper regulations. Like, as society evolves around us, we have to put things in place that protect people.
But abortion is not a medical issue.
It's literally a medical issue.
Abortion is when a woman decides, you know what, I want to kill this man baby. I don't want to have no baby.
Is it that man's baby or is it her own baby too?
She made that decision to do it. It's not like she had to do it. It's not like a medical issue.
Sometimes
so if she
you do
decides
have
to do it, that's fine. You support the Second Amendment?
In some ways, yeah.
You believe that people who want guns should have the right to carry a gun, right?
In certain instances. I do believe
but
in background checks.
But you restrict their freedom in some place?
Yeah, absolutely.
And why?
What do you mean?
But you said you believed in freedom. Why don't they have the right? Why don't we all have the right to carry weapons whenever we want?
Freedom within reason. Freedom within reason.
But how are you going to determine what is reason for someone else?
Just like we determine what is reason for a lot of stuff. Why do we have, why do you get a speeding ticket for going too fast? Who decided that we have to drive 60 miles an hour? Like,
that's right.
Just like you said, we can't have a lawless society, right? We talked about having to put constraints on things and making sure things aren't lawless. That's one of those things as well. So yeah, if you want to have a handgun to protect yourself, sure. Should you have to go through a background check? Should you be able, we always talk about how mental health is the reason why these mass shootings happen. Shouldn't we make sure people are mentally competent before they have a gun? So again, this is all, like you said, society, there's certain things that we have to be able to control. And yeah, we can't have complete lawlessness, to your point, to where we're just letting people do anything.
So then you would agree, if you believe in that, you would agree that a woman should not be allowed to kill the man's child after she get pregnant.
I don't
because
believe
if
that.
you let her do it afterward, she wanted to do it after the 6 months. She wanted to do it after the 9 months.
And that's after the 9 months is murder, because
Right.
once you're 9 months, the baby is viable
Before,
outside the womb.
during the
So
ninth
you
month,
can't kill a live
during
baby.
the 9th month, they would want to do it too if you let them.
You can't.
And
That's not true.
But they would carry it. As a matter of fact, I believe it's Chicago. I could be wrong. They was talking about letting a woman do it, even if she's about to have the baby and she decided she didn't want it, she could abort the baby then.
That's not realistic, or and that doesn't happen often. Most women have abortions
You
before
said
they're
often, but it
even-
happens sometimes.
Only time people have an abortion that late in their pregnancy is if the mother's life is at risk, or if the baby will not be able to survive outside of the womb. There must be some other medical issue going on to where aborting the baby was the only thing to do to preserve the woman's life, or something like that. Those are usually the only instances where an abortion has happened that late. Most women have abortion before even 8 to 10 weeks. Very, very early on, still in the very early phases of the first trimester.
Should she be allowed to have an abortion without the father's permission?
Absolutely.
Because she's killing his child.
And her child too. It's
And the
50-50.
father and the baby belong to them both. Should she be allowed to do that without the father's permission?
Absolutely, because it's still her body that has to go through 9 months of pregnancy. And as you know, pregnancy isn't easy on a woman's body. As you know, particularly Black women are 4 to 5 times more likely to die giving birth. And people lose their teeth, people lose their hair. Being pregnant isn't just like some walk in the park. So if a woman wants to choose that she doesn't want to risk her life and be 4 to 5 times more likely to die, if she doesn't want that responsibility, she can make that choice. Men don't die from pregnancy because men don't have babies.